So you're looking to be a pro chef in Zenith, eh? You think you got what it takes, eh? Well, after today's video, you'll be able to walk away with the knowledge and the possibility to become the greatest chef in all of Zenith. Hey there everyone, I'm Z-Storm, and today we're going to be slicing into the ultimate guide to cooking in Zenith, the last city. There's way more that goes into cooking than just swinging your skillet and chopping your chopper. The first part of the video will teach you vital information that you need to know about cooking in Zenith. Well, towards the end of the video, I will go into the best way to find ingredients located around the world. Alrighty, let's wait a second. Are you subscribed? Are you sure? Well, if you're not, you can just hit the little subscribe button real quick. You know, it might just help me out and maybe come watch over on Twitch and see some sweet live streams. You might learn some other cool tips. Okay, enough of that. Fine. Into the video. So you're gonna be starting out with a cooking station at level 1. I'm level 2 because I just came up from the underside. So all I need to do is open up my inventory and go on over to the cooking tab. Click that cooking part and you will have a thing right here that says toggle station. We're just gonna click that, then boom, we get this lovely area here to make up some goodies. But you can see right away that there really isn't much to cook, and that is where the cooking quests come into play from Brim in the town over here. So if you move your way through the city over here to Brim, Brim's gonna have a quest for you, how the cookie crumbles. And he's just going to ask you to bake him 3 cookies and then talk to him again. This is the type of quest line that you need to go down to be able to unlock new recipes. But to do these recipes, you'll see here that Brim requires you to be a certain level, so this one is level 3. During these different quests, Brim may ask you to reach a certain level of cooking on a particular food, like the cookies or basic noodles, for example. So the tiers for the different foods are as follows. For all foods, it's supposed to be 1 star for cooking 5 of one type of food, 2 stars for cooking 15 types of food, and 3 stars for cooking 60 types of one food. A few recipes are currently off, the biggest one being the cookies not 3-starring until you cook 100 of them. At this moment, the different tiers of food gets you put onto a global leaderboard, PvP cooking ? Other than that, it's just bragging rights until we get a cooking update in the future that changes how things work. Now, as I explained earlier, the majority of the recipes that you're going to get for cooking do come from Brim's quests, but there are some recipes that you're going to have to find in the wild. And currently there are 3 of those that you can find. Those include the cilantro mushroom noodles, which can be found in the forest biomes, so in these areas. The orange cheesecake smoothie, which can be found in the mountain area biomes. And the flaming pineapple smoothie, which can be found in the end desert area biomes. So some of you may be wondering, when you get a recipe, how in the world do you even add it to your list here? And all you have to do is go into your inventory. So you go over here, go to that chest. Your recipe will be right here and you don't know what to do. If you click your grip button on the recipe, you'll pull it out. Maybe it won't work right away, but if you just grab it and aim it up, it will show a yellow circle and complete it. And that means you have now learned that recipe and it should be in your inventory. Now, it may seem pretty simple to do the cooking by the book, but sometimes people don't read and would rather throw the thought of reading out the window and listen to some random YouTuber teach them how to cook. But to be fair, the dialogue explaining exactly how the cooking station works isn't always here, but that's what I'm here for today anyways. So for cooking some basic foods, you just select your recipe on the left side here and follow what the directions say. So let's cook some basil noodles. So it says here to cook the basic noodles in the pot and then place into the cauldron, and then chop the basil into 7 pieces, fry in the skillet, and then place it into the cauldron 2 times. So we're going to go over here and we're going to grab ourselves a basil and we're going to set it above the cutting board and grab our handy dandy little knife. Now, it doesn't matter yet what size pieces you chop everything into. Now, that may be something that changes in the future, but at the moment, if you want to just slice off the edge of something a bunch and call it a day, that's good enough. So now we're going to select our 3 different fuel types, and these last 2 fuels don't actually do anything yet, so there's no point in wasting your money on them because it will cost something. So we're just going to grab this first fuel type here, set it down, and then we're going to push it into the table to activate the cooking station. So during the alpha testings of Zenith, these different fuel cells provided a longer cooking time for the table. So let's say if I wanted to cook multiple basic noodles, these different cells would allow me to cook all the items for longer. So I'm going to push the fuel cell in all the way, and you'll see that my basil turns into a pancake-like object. When frying up the food, make sure to wait a second in between flips, and you'll see that the smoke likes to change color in the pan, and that will get you the highest quality cooking result and the best cooking time. And then when you're done with it, instead of reaching in and grabbing it and moving it over to the cauldron, you can leave it in the pan, and you can just move your pan over to the cauldron and it'll drop the item in the cauldron. Unless you want to feel like a kick booty trick shotter, then maybe the 360 look ma no pans is more your type of approach. Doing a little bit of flippy floppy cool trick shotting, dropped it in the other pan, it still exploded. That's how cool it is. Now, some people may be wondering how to cook milk, and all you have to do is grab that milk and put it into the pot and power the stove on, and it will just turn into a liquid. And once you do that, you grab the dial and you just want to match the white dial with the green dial as it's moving along. And that is how you get the highest quality milk for your cooked recipe. Now, each recipe involving different ingredients has different cooking speeds. There'll be some where the milk takes longer to cook, some where it cooks really fast and you have to match that dial like insane. Others where you have to flip it in the pan like the apple juice takes forever to cook the sugar. You have to sit there and just keep flipping that sugar. Sometimes you'll try and bring an item to the board, but you'll drop it a little too high, so it might just float in the air and get stuck somewhere up there. Just try and go ahead and pick it up and drop it again and see if it drops onto the board. If that doesn't work, put it over into like a pot or something and then grab it out of the pot and then drop it back on the board and it should drop right out. If that doesn't work, then just turn off your cooking station and turn it back on again. Now, you may notice as you're cooking that your cooking numbers on the left side here aren't going to go up. So right now for the basil noodles, it says times cooked 64. So if I go over here and complete this and bring the basil noodles into me, it's still just going to say 64. But if you want to refresh this, all you have to do is aim at that particular recipe and just click on it and that'll update it. Or when you back out of your station and open your station again, it will be refreshed and ready to go. So now you've cooked a bunch of food and you're ready to buff yourself and become the strongest bonker in all the lands. But what else can you do? You can actually feed your friends different foods to give them buffs as well. Yeah, little whose pizza is this? Yeah, I got a little food. I got a little something for you to munch on. There you go. You enjoy that. You enjoy that, buddy. All right, it's tasty stuff. One other thing that's overlooked a lot of the time is that you can eat one ingredient, one food, and one drink, and all of their stat buffs will stack. So from the mushrooms, I get some stamina. From the rosemary sour carrot noodles, I get some defense and health. And from the orange rabbit smoothie, I get some rage and armor. So I can bring all these together, and you'll see that I'm able to get all of their buffs at once stacked together. But if I try to eat something else, like the pineapple here, that just overwrote the stamina buff that I had from the mushroom and gave me 100 shield. So whatever particular food item that you eat over the last one that you had, whether that be an ingredient, food, or a drink, will overwrite the last stat that you had of that particular style of food. But one of the nice things about that is if you eat several of one type of food, you can add the duration to that so you don't have to worry about continuously eating something. So let's say I'm going to bring out all these cookies out of my inventory. Now if we go ahead and we eat one of these cookies, we'll see that we got our little health buff and attack buff and defense buff. We'll see that the timer is going down. We'll eat another cookie. Now you see that all those buffs stay there and that they're going down even slower. Eat another cookie, and every time I'm eating that cookie, it's just adding more and more to that timer, so I don't have to worry about it while I'm exploring the land, fighting different creatures, and focusing on being awesome. Do know that these buffs will wipe off your body if you have to revive yourself or if you're dead longer than 20 seconds without someone reviving you. So that's pretty much it for the cooking portion basics of this. Now let's get into where in the world you find all the ingredients to make this succulent list of delicious food. If we go into our inventory tab, go back over to the cooking area and click on gathering, you'll see there are many different options of ingredients to find. So the first area that you're going to enter in the game once you leave the city is going to be the fractured plains, and out here in the fractured plains you're going to find some different types of ingredients. In the different trees scattered around the area you will find oranges. You can grab those oranges and put them in your inventory to level up your gathering skill. And every time you level up your gathering skill to another star, you increase the chance of doubling your item when you pull it off of something. So now I'm here at tier 3 oranges right now, so I have one of the higher chances of going over to a tree like over there, pulling an orange off, and that one orange becoming 2. But apart from that, this area is plentiful in the oranges and the basil. You can find the basil located in the grass like this. You'll see the different sparkles coming off. You just grip it and bring it to your inventory. You'll find a basil located at these different farm plots around the fractured plains. You'll also find some basil located under these different rocks. So now that you know how to find a few of those ingredients, let's go through the list in order. First, starting with gathering apples. Now, a lot of people ask me all the time, where in the world do you find apples? And it's pretty easy, actually. We're going to open up our world map, and we're going to go over to the Obsidian Fortress. There is an area located between the Obsidian Fortress and Sporewood right in here, where there are a bunch of trees that actually spawn a ton of apples. So here I am, I teleported to the Obsidian Fortress. We're just going to want to turn this way towards the Sporewood Forest, and we're going to fly our way on over here. So coming over here into this zone, we're going to have some different trees located in this area. We'll have a tree there, a tree there, a tree here. You'll notice that all these trees have these beautiful scrumdiddlyumptious apples on them. And there is 5 trees over here. So 3, 4, 5 trees. If we head back the other way, there are some more trees over here, like that tree, and that tree, and this tree. Now, taking a look back onto the gathering, the next item that we need to find is peaches. Now, peaches are most plentifully found in the Skysong Summit area. Once you get to Skysong Summit, you will see various trees located around the area that look a little light in color. They're kind of pinkish, whitish, and these have all the peaches on them. So you can find these scattered out all around this area, and I know some of you may be looking for the Magic Peach Tree quest, and that is actually located in this area. The Magic Peach Tree that you have to go and plant the peaches on is actually located in this back area here of the Skysong Summit. Next on our gathering list here is the Dragonfruit, so let's go take a look at where some Dragonfruit is located. The vast majority of Dragonfruit can be found in all the forest biomes, starting with the Amorite, going through the Scarlet Wood, and ending in the Sporewood. This is the best area to farm for that Dragonfruit. Once you get here, you'll find all sorts of trees around the area that look like this with a little pinkish red fruit on them. These are the Dragonfruit trees. You just climb them and get yourself some good old tasty dragon fruit. Next on our list of gathering is the pomegranate, and there really isn't anything to craft with a pomegranate right now, but you can gather it if you want to gather it for leveling up your gathering skill. And these can be found in the desert area biomes. So starting in the Emerald Desert and in Queen's Path and in Ruler's Reach, there will be some trees that we can find them in. So let's go take a look. So once we get here to the Emerald Desert, we'll be able to go up here through this little archway, and there'll be some trees around the area that look like this. And in these trees are located the beautiful, bountiful pomegranates. Our next ingredient on the list is basil, but we already gathered some of that basil in the beginning area. After basil is the durian, and durian was actually back in Sporewood where we just were. So when you spawn into Sporewood, if you leave that area and take a sharp left, there will be a tree right here holding a bunch of durians on it. There will be a bunch of trees scattered like this throughout Sporewood here, kind of sitting next to different dragon fruit trees, but dragon fruits and durians are the best to find here in Sporewood. The next thing on our list is rosemary. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be looking for rosemary because it is an essential ingredient while crafting in this game. And rosemary, I am happy to say, can actually be found a lot in the ramshackle. So once we spawn in here to the ramshackle, there are various different places that we could go. The rosemary is spread out pretty vastly when it comes to the ramshackle area. Kind of looking around to different corners and taking a look for something a little bit sparkly and shiny. So we'll see over here that we have our rosemary kind of on the corner of things. If we head over here, there'll be a rosemary also usually sitting right here in the corner of things. And sometimes up on little hills around the corners, the rosemary likes to sit. But you gotta kind of look around and figure out what works best for you. There's different paths that I like to run when I'm looking around to collect rosemary. There's one here usually. Sometimes there's one in along here. You can also find yourself some apples here. So if you want to be double gathering and gathering some of those apples, there are apples here, even though there are only like 2 or 3 per tree. It's still nice to be able to get some apples and some rosemary. Now the next thing here is gathering purple mushrooms. I have 5 stars on this. As you can see, I've gathered a fair amount of these regular mushrooms. And these regular mushrooms can be found in a bunch of different areas actually. They're most plentifully found in the underside, but you can find some in the different desert zones, kind of around like the waters and like under objects, kind of where mushrooms would grow in real life in the darkness of things, but the underside is where you get them the most. This underside music is a bop. Alright, so now that we rolled in here to the underside, you'll see kind of this little canalway over to that little blue electric ball looking thing on the wall. So we're gonna kind of just jump down here, just kind of glide through this area here. You'll see that there'll be mushrooms kind of just hanging out here. By the time you come back, there'll be more mushrooms respawned. So I like to just go through here. You can see there's a bunch of mushrooms already just hanging out up here. I like to come through, gather those mushrooms. On that wall, that pillar's right there, there's some more mushrooms. There'll be a mushroom sitting on the outside of there, one under there, and another one under there, and one sitting on that pillar. And then there'll be some more over here on the walls, and there will be always like 1 to 3 sitting over here. So you have one that likes to sit there, and then sometimes 2 that like to sit in here. And this is really the fastest way to level up your purple mushrooms, is just to go through this route way right here. Now, next on our list, I know many of you have been trying to search for this elusive, super hidey, rare mushroom. It's actually not hiding. I'm going to teach you some tricks on how we're going to get some blue mushrooms for y'all. Now, what we're going to want to do here is we're going to teleport up to the Tangled Cove. The Tangled Cove, between Tangled Cove and Ramshackle, is where you will find the most blue mushrooms. I believe there are a few other spots where blue mushrooms can be located on the map, but I believe that those are way more rare and hidden pretty good. This will be your best bet. So, you spawn in a Tangled Cove here, and you'll see on these different stone structures that there's kind of like some vines hanging off. That is where some are located. You can get some from these different structures all located around the map. And then there'll be other areas kind of like on these logs or under these logs, and there'll be some more blue mushrooms located there. We'll kind of we'll go over this way on some more structures over here. This log always has one residing on it. This is the good old mushroom log. Sometimes there likes to be one hanging out right up there. There is not one there right now. That rock likes to have about like 3 blue mushrooms hanging out somewhere on it. That tree has some blue mushrooms, and that back area has a few mushrooms in there. Kind of just this whole area you want to be checking on top of the structures, on the side walls of things, in the little nooks and crannies. That's where these blue mushrooms are just like to hide themselves from everybody around in these areas. And one good thing you can do to make sure that you're really trying to find these blue mushrooms here, is turn your grass density down. If you turn your grass density down on PC, you can make it, a little easier. Now, I know on Quest the grass density already isn't much, if at all, so you probably don't have to worry about that if you're on the Quest version. But on PC, if you want to do that to help you out a little bit, that's something that you can do. So now that we got the elusive blue mushroom out of the way, we're gonna go over to Cilantro. Now, Cilantro is actually back in an area that we were a little bit ago. It's in the Skysong Summit, believe it or not. This one took me a little bit to figure out what the best spot for the Cilantro was, actually. So when we get here, there can be some cilantro found up on the top of this waterfall. The cilantro likes to hang out around bodies of water. And then I'm going to show you the best area to get the cilantro here, in my opinion. So if we keep going this way, there would be a nice little area of water over here. This place is ridden with cilantro, usually. It looks like somebody might have just come through here, but there's cilantro that sits on the walls here. There's cilantro that sits there and over here. But kind of just come in here, gathering some cilantro, go off and gather something else. So our next ingredient we're going to gather here is lemons. And to find the lemons, we're going to go back to the ramshackle. So as I was stating before, you can find rosemary and apples here, but you can also find lemons located around the area. There is a lemon tree down from the area that you spawn in here, just to your left, that you can come on over and collect some lemons. And there's a couple of these scattered across this area here. There's one located over here on this hill. There is one located over there. There is one located over there. And there is one back in the beginning area of the ramshackle located over there. So the next thing, papayas. Some people get lost on trying to find papayas, and you do need them a little bit for making some smoothies, but I personally have not found a gigantic need for them. That is subject to what you like creating for your food though. So if we head on over to the Radiant Coast here, you will see in the trees that kind of look like this, they got that extra bigger part to them on these palm trees. These are actually papayas around here. In the other beach zones, it's mostly pineapples. They also decided to place a peach tree here, so I guess you can get some peaches here while you're gathering papayas. Next on our list is the infamous hidden carrots. Everybody wants to get their hands on carrots, and they're a pain in the butt to get your hand on. So let's go find some carrots. You can find carrots in some different spots. You can actually get them in the known Galleon Valley. This is where most people struggle to try and get some carrots, but you can also find some carrots here in Queen's Path. So we're gonna go over to Galleon Valley. I'll show you where you can find some carrots real quick. So when we spawn in here, there are various areas that like to spawn a decent bit of carrots. And that is this little farm bed likes to spawn them sometimes. Other times there's nothing here. This little bed over here likes to spawn them every now and then. Ooh, look, a carrot. Then if we head over this way, every now and then you can find some carrots in between here in this little water area. And then over here in this particular bed, there are a bunch of carrots that like to spawn in. You do have other little carrot beds that are hanging out around here that you can also find carrots in, but those are the most plentiful ones in this area for carrots. Ooh, carrot. But now let's go over to Queen's Path and let me show you where those carrots are located. So we spawn in here at Queen's Path, and we're gonna go and look for some bodies of water real quick. The quickest one is coming on over here to this little structure, and you'll see kind of the little oasis watery area. And if we run ourselves along this water area, there are a bunch of carrots hidden here. But boom, look at that. Look at little carrots. Look at carrots. Look at them. Ooh, ooh, delicious. Yummy. Munch. I'm never gonna get any more carrots now. I'm telling everybody where all my carrots are. There's various other bodies of water here in the Queen's Path / desert area that you can find these carrots. This is the one that I just found to be the quickest to get to. I can come here, get some carrots, get some pomegranates, head out of here, go back over to the Galleon Valley, check, and I kind of just run my route of different ingredients. And last but not least, we're going to gather some pineapples. These pineapples are very, very plentiful actually over in the Turtle Top / Tangled Cove area. Now, I personally like to gather them from Tangled Cove because I can get blue mushrooms while I'm gathering these pineapples. So when you spawn in here, all you got to do, turn around, you're looking for the same palm trees that the papayas were spawning on, except for now they got pineapples in this area. And those are located all over the place. You got one right there, you got one down there, you got one over there, one there. There's a bunch over on the other side. So you can really load up on pineapples pretty fast. It didn't take me long to get tier 3 pineapples, but the tier 4 and tier 5 pineapples might take me a little bit. Now, one thing I didn't go over is these various ingredients actually do have uses apart from just making food. Some of them give you a health bonus for a certain amount of time. Some of them give you a quick stamina bonus. Now, it doesn't list right here how long it gives you the bonus for. If you want to go and check in your inventory, you can see how long they give you the bonus for. So this one says plus 25% attack. You're like, whoa, that's crazy, but it actually only gives it to you for 25 seconds. The common mushroom gives you plus 5% speed and plus 3 stamina for 15 seconds. The apple gives you plus 5 health for 1 second, so that just kind of restores your health. The pineapple gives you plus 100 shield for 25 seconds. So this is another thing that's nice, that you can stack your fruit on top of one another. So if you want to hold that plus 100 shield for, let's say, 5 minutes, all you got to do is pull out a bunch of pineapples and just munch them down your throat, and you'll just keep adding to that timer. The sugar for the plus 10% speed for 25 seconds, that one's pretty fun. I actually, I like to munch on this sugar a little bit, and you can really get zooming if you eat it up and you just run around real quick. Like I'm moving around super fast, so that's kind of a nice thing that you're able to do if you want to get around faster while gathering and things like that. You can get that plus 10% movement speed on your body. So I think that's pretty much it for this cooking and gathering tutorial. That's the basics of what you need to do, and you can kind of find the routes that work best for you in each area for the ingredients. I've figured out the best route for me for the blue mushrooms, for the purple mushrooms, for rosemary, and it's really based on how you like to get around the area as an individual. But hopefully this gave you some insight on what you need to be able to do to really become the master chef here in the land of Zenith. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and as always, never give up. Peace out, folks.
When my friends go, it was simple. When the ends low, switch the tempo. I got right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, bet I strike, I go hard day and night, yeah.